If the Death Pantheon are robots, and Nathreza is one, does that mean the Dreadlords are as well, and or Curse of Flesh? So that's what's really weird, right, in terms of that lore. And it's the weird thing of, and we've talked about this a few times, but parasitic lore, right?
Yes.
Where Blizzard have a new thing, they're like, right, we have a new thing. And we don't really have enough time to make this new thing be slowly built up. So the only way that we can get this new thing is to take our new thing, take a welding torch, and weld it to the things that the people already know.
Yeah.
And that's how Dreadlords end up being Nathrez's pack of lads.
Mm-hmm.
So, what to say? I mean, Nathreza created the Dreadlords.
Sure did.
I mean, if you chop them in half, I imagine it's blood and guts.
Yeah.
And certainly the Dreadlords, they left the Shadowlands. They got banished. Right? Like, was it the Stone Rite or whatever? It was a whole big hullabaloo happened long, long ago in the past, and the Dreadlords get banished. At some point, the Dreadlords then go to the world of Nathreza. I imagine it wasn't called that before they arrived, but they came to this planet, called it Nathreza, and this is actually, there's the book that you really enjoyed, World of Warcraft, Illidan, which is the one that came out.
Great.
Yeah, it's like it's a fun book,
great.
and one of the coolest things is the description of Nathreza.
Yeah.
It really makes you kind of frustrated that Illidan nuked the shit out of it, because it would have been a really, really cool place to go. Like, it's, these big, massive, like, fucking archives full of, all the ancient knowledge. Like, they could have went so ham in the art for Nathreza.
Yeah, it was clearly, like, lore-wise and, like, in a very interesting way, it was very much the Library of Alexandria, like, analogy. Where it's like, here's all of, like, the archive knowledge and everything that they know. Everything that, like, the Dreadlords, these infiltrators, have recorded over history. And Ildan's like, yeah, cool. Don't care, though. Boom. And, like, that was brilliant for characterizing him. Nath does a great place. That book was great. Go read it. It's great. It's actually like, well, William King was just been writing traveling fantasy for years.
Yeah, audibletrial.com/Bellular.
Go for it. Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like some words just slipped out of my mouth.
I
don't remember saying them.
Yeah.
Huh, isn't that weird?
Yeah. No, it's weird where I think they have this real frustrating problem where it kind of links in the same way where you were talking earlier about the Explorers League. Like, right, everyone, let's spend all this money and hire all these people and get all these boats in and let's go on an adventure for a plot contrivance reason that doesn't really seem all that important. There's probably a little bit of like the whims of like the whims of the leaders and a little bit of a very slight militaristic need, but the point is it's supposed to be divorced from militarism. The kind of military-led way they always do everything, like with Pandaria being like, oh yeah, we're going to go do war. And then Warlord's going to be, we're going to go do war. Legion, we're going to do war. BFA, we're going to do war. They're finally going, let's just explore. It'll turn into war eventually, but it's like the fact that that's like a bit of world building gone wrong of, why are the refugees not, well, I mean, it wouldn't be their place to do that, but why aren't like the people of Stormwind standing outside the keep with torches going, could you please get these people some goddamn homes? Because there's homeless everywhere and you're sending a load of people off on a fucking expedition. That is no way to lead. Get off that bastard throne, Trellian, you hateful fuck. Like, that's one thing. But the kind of, it leads into the same idea of just they don't really care about getting all the details right. Because they're in such a rush.
They're just like, get them to the fucking Isles as quickly as possible.
But
Azeroth doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Chromie's done what she can, but we're fucked.
But it's like, it's a loss of it. It's that lack of attention to detail that applies to the Dreadlord stuff, where they go, we have to massage these Dreadlords into being this thing from the Shadowlands. We'll figure it out later. We'll do the bare minimum, and then we'll figure out any fallback, any fallout of that as time goes on. We will just kick that can down the road as much as possible, and then we'll kind of contrive some detail as necessary, instead of going, hey, this makes complete sense, because they are kind of working it in. but they don't do their due diligence because they don't have time to do without doing it in a book. And then everyone goes, fuck off, stop putting stuff in books. They're like, we can't put it in the game. You wouldn't play the quest. It's checking out the biology of a Dreadlord. You wouldn't do that.
Imagine if that other MMORPG.
I don't even want to
imagine if it just, without properly explaining the Crystal Tower and that stuff. So imagine if Shadowbringers didn't properly explain that.
Yeah.
And then you end up, like, the next expansion is like, bam, you're in Elpis. And, like, none of the connections really explained. And it's all just, like, little lore hidden in the side. But it's all just like, A plot. And they didn't do a good job of, like, establishing connections with characters that are the bridge to all of this. It's like it wouldn't work. That's the thing. That's like what 14 proves is that you can do real insane shit that, I mean, the things that they've done with Shadowbringers and Endwalker.
Impossible. Like,
if Blizzard tried, it would, like, if Blizzard tried, it would be so bad because they just don't put the fucking work in. They just go immediately, like, straight into the main course, right? Basically. The FF14 development team are masters at foreplay. Blizzard's just fucking hopping in there dry.
See,
that's the deal.
So, I actually have an analogy for the exact same thing, and this will maybe explain the difference between our personalities. We went, the FF14 team are masters of foreplay. Blizzard go in dry. I was just thinking, well, there was a comment on the 6.2 MSQ video that said, it's not a food analogy, no, for a change. FF14 is like a book. That's it. It's loads ready. No, it's a book, and they take all the time, all the care to pace everything meticulously. They know they've got all of the time in the world to give you every detail they need because it's a book. And that's different to most games because most games are movies. Most games take the same narrative approach as movies of like, right, how can we get away with showing stuff here, and then we want to, like, how do we, move to the next scene, how do we cut, etc., etc. And obviously FF14's got a lot of cinematography and camera work baked in, but it's more like the narrative structure of a movie of, here's some stuff, bang, here's the next stuff, bang, here's the next stuff. Whereas the book is more a little, we're going slowly through things. And World of Warcraft is a badly edited movie where they've maybe got a lot of footage done, but then in the cutting room, there's a load of stuff on the floor that maybe never got filmed because of time constraints or something like that, to keep this analogy going. But FF14 is a book as opposed to World of Warcraft being a badly edited, faster paced movie. And that's like fundamentally the problem of when you're building a world, movies are not very good at building worlds unless they are super laborious. That's why, the Lord of the Rings movies are obscene. They're obscenely long. I'm trying to think of other like decent world building. Like, imagine like the John Wick movies are pretty good at world building, in the sense that they give you this sense of what it's like in the world of assassins, what it's like in the Continental, and with the high table ruling over stuff. And that gets away with it because it also labors that and is super clean. And the only shit it deals with is John Wick is going to go kill people, and also like the Continental's like the core plot contrivance. But in the book, you could do that so much, whatever. Yeah. You could take all the time in the universe, get as much as you need, have 100 pages of just here's some good stuff, and that's what FF14 does. But that's hard to do, and it's like they're a little bit of zoomies, but it's also like it is a decision that you make what style to go for, and that's where the JRPG roots came in super handy, because JRPGs are traditionally kind of more structured a little bit like that, and they know the value of taking that time, and they know the budget for that. They know how to like get expectations for that and build their characters, whereas other games narrative structure are movies. That's why people call like games movie games, because they are just
like Uncharted 4.
Yeah, that is literally we've adapted a movie into a game. Not super literally, but I imagine those scripts seem like movie scripts. Movie like what are they called? The movie script?
Just a script.
Yeah, it's like you've got just one of those screenplay. You've got a screenplay that also has gameplay elements in, whereas it's different over there. I think that's like a super key important part of them just not having the detail. I feel like FF14 overdoes it with narrative. That's why it works, because that's like, right, you're gonna what was it? It was because I timed it, because the 6.2 MSQ took me about 4 hours all in, and I finished the boss of it, like the final bit of gameplay, 3 hours in. And then there was an hour of just walking around and talking. And most of that was literally talking.
Yeah.
Just voice dialogue, sitting around a dinner table, characters talking to each other, and like delivering exposition. And I thought that was great. But you can imagine, if you're not super engaged, that's really, really over the top.
Well, like
that's obscene.
If you're a TikTok loving Zoomer, that will be impossible.
Yeah.
And I only say that because, like, I'm beginning to realize there's a severe generational difference between you and me and people who are like 5, 6, 7 years younger than us. And like it's straight up
it's
crazy. I've never, like, maybe this is like the fastest that we've felt that.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, I suppose I just wonder. I'm not going to go all doomer about media, but I think you could probably understand why I would be doomer about media.
Go for it, I'll help.
Yeah.
I too have watched things, unfortunately.
I guess it's just Shadowlands felt like, if I was to do like a movie touch point, Shadowlands felt like Rise of Skywalker. You know, it's like its ending was just as lame and shit. It's everything else was just the fucking peak of and then storytelling. And then, where
and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But if they just get to do Dragonflight, focus on Dragonflight. If you know what, if we can just get more of those good side stories, and I suppose we do have one of those to talk about later, but one of the times where it's been like the A plot has just felt so fucking lifeless and lame, but where some character and heart has actually appeared has just been in side quests. Yeah. And with there being quite a lot of side quests in all these different zones, I'm hoping that they get a lot of quality world building in.
Yeah, that's the awkward part, where they need to this is basically it. They need to take their budget away from their side quests and put that into like the A plot, in the fact where if they had stuff like they had with I can't remember her name, whatever the broker was, that was like the one that found Haven and Zareth Mortis and then abandoned the clan or the cartel, and then they had that little bit of dialogue between like, well, no, you were I can't remember the name, you were prefix name, why are you just going by name now, you've dropped your prefix, like, oh yeah, because full hippie mode, that shit doesn't matter anymore, I'm just just chilling here in Zareth Mortis doing the first one stuff. And that was like a really fun kind of emotional back and forth. It was actually a really good feeling side quest. And if they had got whoever did that to just like, here, you see what you did there for the shit no one cares about, the side quests? It feels rude calling it that, but it's also literally true, I think, which is the unfortunate part. Can you just do that, but do it with, do it with Tilly and Bolvar, or do it with, Bane for a bit, Basically promote to the people who are doing the side quests to do the side quests, but don't make them side quests.
Yeah.
Do the side quests, but make them main quests, and put the characters that we know into them. Like, that's like the difference, right? That's the difference. I think.
A lot of people would contend that Mass Effect 2 is like the best narrative Mass Effect. Now, Mass Effect 2 has by far the weakest A plot, I would say.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's loved is because it is 100% your crew and characters, because it's basically all missions to recruit your team, missions to earn their loyalty, and a few A-plot missions, and it works brilliantly as a format. Whoops. I think it's just it just goes to show, like, the thing that really matters is the heart. Mass Effect 2 succeeded in getting the heart in. FF succeeded in getting the heart in. They both did so in their own ways. WoW needs to find a way to get the heart in without just kind of using their characters as devices to kick the plot forward.
Yeah, because whenever...
And then just, the heart, that happens in a stay a while and listen. or something. Like they need it needs to be more integrated.
That's fundamentally the problem. I think there's something with this maybe doesn't super line up, but you know the way, and this is something that the Red Letter Media Boys talk about Adam Sandler movies, like the worst of them, whenever they basically have like an emotional scene at the end to pretend they had a heart the whole time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually track thematically whatsoever. It doesn't track in any of the other parts of the film. It's literally just, oh shit, we need a reason people feel warm when they're leaving the cinema. Fuck, jam it in. And it feels like that's a little bit of how Warcraft ends up feeling sometimes. Because I guess I feel like they lose all the middle bits that make a story actually important for the A plot. And it's just, you've never made us feel anything about the jailer. You kind of struggled a little bit with that even before. I mean, I like Legion, but its story was kind of shit too. Outside of relying on, it
was very simple.
It had big enough moments, and it was bolstered by the fact we were taking on the Legion, and they did that pretty okay. But it's like everything is just here's the bullet points, here's the summary, of what happened as opposed to what actually happened. And it's like, well, yeah, you can imagine the heart, but you're basically filling in all the gaps yourself. And that's bullshit.
You have to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And shouldn't really necessarily be like that.